This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday you get this all over again, unless it's like last Sunday where Maureen Johnson forces me to watch all of the Twilight movie and we record ourselves watching it. And then it is 2 hours of us watching a thing. That's another thing that happens over on the Patreon. That thing was available if you gave it the $5 a month level. That's a lot of video for $5.
Worth it. Worth every penny.
If you give another $5 on that, you get a sticker in the mail every month because you become a member of the Says Who Sticker Club, which is a great club. Anyway, all of that is available to you at patreon.com/sayswho.
Look, I have a boo-boo on my finger. Can you see it?
I can.
Do you know what that was?
Did you drop something on it?
I have a big tape dispenser, like a big roll. I have one of these.
Oh, okay. She's getting something. Oh yeah, tape gun. Look at this. Hold on.
Okay.
Look at that.
Got a tape gun.
Look at that. Tape gun.
Yours.
Look at that.
Maybe they're the same one.
No, they're a little bit different.
Yours looks nicer.
Nice. Yeah.
Yours looks nicer. Well, I was trying. It got stuck here, and I tried to get it off, and I scraped my finger along all this little thing, and it's real jagged looking.
Yeah, that's no fun.
But that doesn't matter. That's not what books are about.
Nope. I mean, they could be.
Season for spookiness. Get yourself a Death at Morning House and be bespookied. It's also a week before the election. Get yourself a book and stop being in this reality. Join another reality. Read Truly Devious. Read Death at Morning House. Read anything you like, but those are some offerings.
You know what I did today?
No.
I was on a call that I didn't want to be on and that I was not particularly important to. And my head went a-wandering, as it tends to do on that sort of thing. And I was all, man, remember when me and Maureen made that true crime podcast for Box in the Woods? And I looked it up and I just started listening to it on the call. Sitting there listening to a podcast.
My friend Julie narrated
was going
that.
around me. Yeah, and Hal Lublin, both.
That's right.
Anyway, it was real good. I was like, wow, that was good. And then somebody was like, what do you think, Dan? And I had to pause really quick and be like, oh, yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, it's synergy.
Absolutely.
Honestly, I think we should be disruptive and shake up the narrative.
Yeah. Anyway, that's one of your books as well. All of Maureen's books are available at kickbezosintheballs.org, our own little bookshop that's only gets more relevant in its naming by the day. So go ahead and kick Bezos in the balls.
Those knockers.
.org and get some of Maureen's books because they're spooky and pretty darn good.
I think he doesn't hang low. I think he's got a little tiny.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And they're real up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Just little hazelnuts.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Anyway.
Why are we having this? Dan, why did you say that?
Kick Bezos in the balls.org. And if you are purchasing things on the internet, why not go over to merch.sayswhopodcast.com where we have Says Who merchandise. You can go to shop.dansinker.com where I sell a few different patches, all of which are great. One of which was mentioned in Maureen Johnson's most recent book, Death at Morning House.
Yep, it's in there.
It's in there. It makes a cameo. Anyway.
Cameo patch.
But also, if you happen to be on the internet and don't want to buy something, but instead want to listen to something great, go ahead and listen to the podcast Rebel Spirit, which I produce with our good pal Akilah Hughes. The 9th episode is going to be out by the time you hear this. Guess how many there are? There are 10. So get caught up. Get with it. Get on it. You might be asking yourself, what does that mean your 10th episode comes out on election day? Whoops. And no, there's going to be a little filler episode that comes out on election day. So you'll get that. But get caught up. Come on. Go for it. Do it. Rebel Spirit. All right. Trump rally. A few days, just less than a week before. Oh, no. Is that a ghost?
Dan, you should sound a little bit more surprised.
Oh, it's a ghost.
You're not selling it, but I'll take it.
What are you a ghost of, ghost?
I'm the ghost of elections past, Dan.
You're the worst ghost.
Screw you. I'm here again. Deal with it.
I don't
I'm
want
here
to.
for the third Trump election.
This is a
You
terrible
thought there was
haunting.
going to be one.
Yeah. Thought it was
Then
going to be
you
one and
thought
done.
maybe two, but
Yeah.
now here we are again back with our bullshit.
Oh, great.
How are you feeling?
I don't feel great. I mean, number one, I'm being haunted right now.
Yeah.
So that's not ever good.
Sure.
Number two, yeah, the election is in less than a week, so don't feel great about that either.
Well, I was told to make sure everyone has a bad feeling, and I understood the assignment.
I mean,
I'm here to just basically bring down the vibe.
Mission accomplished.
Do you feel tense?
Yes.
Kind of gross?
Yes.
Kind of weird feeling you can't place that's with you all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Slight headache?
Mm-hmm.
Weird sleep pattern?
100%.
Then I've done my job.
Yeah. Do you need me to fill out like a form for your boss or something?
I have a survey. If you
Yeah,
could
that's
just
fine.
stay
I can
on the
do that.
line for a minute.
Sure.
How would you rate this interaction?
I mean, if it was a haunting to leave me feeling scared, that is a 5.
Hi, thanks a lot, man. Keep it real. I'll be with you, so I'll just be standing here.
No need. You can
Not
go haunt someone else
the
now.
job. Don't worry, there's a lot of us. Let's watch TV together. Did you want to watch Twilight?
No.
Come on, let's go, Team Edward. Welcome to Says Who. The podcast is not a podcast.
It's a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
And I'm Maureen Johnson, and I made Dan Sinker watch Twilight this weekend.
Yeah, you did.
I loved every goddamn second of it.
Somebody in the comments on the Patreon was all, so do you actually like this movie? To you.
I like watching you watch it.
I mean, that's not really an answer.
It's just so much a part of the world.
That it is.
You know, it's just so much, just like, get on my back, spider monkey, and how long have you been 17? A while, say it, vampire. I can do the whole thing. I've thought of everything. Radioactive spiders, kryptonite, both the options. You guys, he hated it. And since we're going to be watching both Breaking Dawns for charity, I guess we are, Dan. We're going to find a charity. How about World Central Kitchen?
I mean, that's
you
good.
can't. You could. If for World Central Kitchen, if we raised some money for that, you'd have to do it, wouldn't you? 5 hours out of your life to feed a bunch of people.
5 fucking hours.
Yes.
There are a never-ending series of problems that I have and that anyone reasonable has with J.K. Rowling. But one of them is the idea that they suddenly realized you could just take a long book and make it into 2 movies instead of condense it into one. Although I guess they kind of did that with Lord of the Rings first, didn't they? But then again, so did everything else she wrote about.
Yeah. It's true, Dan. It's true. And she sucks.
Yeah, she does.
So it's still so weird to me that 2 people I admired so much, namely her. Well, her, I was like, I admired the world of the happiness that everybody had.
Yeah, sure.
Like that I was really into. And also the guy, the writer Graham Linehan, who is out of his mind.
Okay.
Like,
I'm unfamiliar.
He wrote Father Ted. He wrote Black Books. He co-wrote them. He is, that's just he's not just a turf. He's just sits in a room all day doing terrible things on the internet. Like genuinely is some sort of weird kind of online predator at this point.
Perfect.
Lost his wife, lost his kids, lost all of his jobs and literally just sits and shit posts about trans people all day long in an increasingly unhinged way. So it's just nothing turned out quite the way I expected.
I mean, that feels accurate beyond just a couple of authors.
Dan,
we are 1 week right now.
Yeah.
By the time people are listening to this, we are 6 days from Election Day.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Here's the thing, Dan.
Yeah.
So they are doing construction on the outside of my building.
Yes.
They are removing and repairing the facade.
Sure.
And when I say they are outside my window, I mean there is a rig and a man that I wave to. And I am pretty far up. There's the man outside.
It's my window man. Hello, window man.
Dexy is confused because there's normally no one outside the window and she is not up for this shit. But they are drilling and it has been going on for over a week. And it is so loud.
Yeah.
That both Oscar and I started to just feel really tense.
Yeah.
And then maybe with the election, all that, and it starts at 8 a.m. and it goes on until 4.
That is
while
madness.
You're trying to work. And it is a drill 4 feet from my head.
That is complete madness.
And I started to feel really sick. I had a flare of my condition that was one of the worst that I've had in years.
Okay.
And it was starting to kind of start midday or like kind of late in the day. Like after we watched Twilight the other day, I felt great. But then as the day went on, I felt sicker and sicker.
Man,
and
I had the exact opposite experience.
Worth it. So I was like, wow, I feel really terrible. And Oscar's like, man, my head really hurts. And Dex even like barfed for no reason. I'm like,
oh, good.
So I was like, and also they've taken down one of the elevators isn't working. So like we're all trying to like get in and out of the building of like this one elevator. And there's this ratcheting jackhammer outside my ear. And I was like, I can't. And my mom's like, why didn't you just come down here? And I was like, no. And then the other day I was like, I feel so terrible. And we were, Oscar and I went at the same time and got both our flu and COVID shots. And we were sitting in the chairs and I looked over at him and said, should we just go to Philly? Because I don't think I can take this for another week. Because we'll be in LA after that. And I feel sick.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I expected him to be like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we should get out. Like, it's awful.
Here's my one question there. I think it's great that you're getting out. But there are other places.
Here's the deal. We are going to LA, you and me, in a week.
Yeah.
Dexy is going to be boarding down there anyway. We'd already paid for like the ride and like, so we already had to go there with her. So we're like, since everything is already set up for that, there's no time to like get another location and her and everything. Like, true. Just go there. So what I'm doing is I am going to the hottest. I am going to the neighborhood where Donald Trump just pretended to work in a McDonald's.
You are literally going into the belly of the motherfucking beast.
I am going to there. Yeah. I am going to be in one of those neighborhoods. Literally, Dan, that he was there because he was like, this is the most divisive place. This is where my weirdos are. That's where I'm going, Dan. I am going there the week before, leading up to the election of 2024. And then
what could go wrong?
Then I am jetting to you and me together in through the sky to Disney. I feel like this is the weirdest movie of the series.
Yeah, it does. There is a real sense of grand finale.
Oh, here's the thing, though. As discussed, those grand finales are always split into 2 now. So that suggests a part 4.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. It highly suggests a part 4. The only reason I can talk to you now is A, we were recording at 6 p.m. on Monday night because I'm going to be going to Philly tomorrow. And you would not have been able to hear me because there is a jackhammer outside my window. And I'm pointing at my ears. I am wearing a pair of Bose noise canceling headphones
Yeah,
sent to me. And now I don't feel as sick.
that's
They
great.
are magical.
I got some noise for the first time. I had always been a bit of a snob about headphones and was always like, well, all I need is sound isolating headphones instead of noise canceling headphones. And I got a pair of like little noise canceling earbuds because my other Bluetooth things had kind of died. And it is magical. Jesus Christ. When you turn it on, it's like, whoa, the whole world just left.
It's a game changer. I can't hear the traffic. I can't hear the sirens.
That is awesome.
I could hear the jackhammering, but it was distant. It didn't bother me as much because it really wasn't as present.
Right.
So I had to finish a copy edit today. And I was sitting here and even though I didn't feel great,
Yeah.
I was like able to do it, which was pretty good. So
That's awesome.
I'm going to tell you another story, Dan.
I'm here for it.
So I have earbuds, AirPods.
Okay. Maureen just
and
reached over and is holding a little AirPod case.
You'll see this one says P4.
Okay.
Because this one is Pro 4. Like I've had a bunch and they all keep getting generated new numbers. And I've never lost an AirPod until the other day. It fell out of my pocket when I was crossing 3rd Avenue.
Oh no.
I went back, tried to find it, no dice. So I was like, I really fucking need these because this is how I do everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need them quickly. I was like, I hate that I used Amazon, but I did.
Yeah.
That's how I got them quickly. And then I realized you could order one AirPod. So I did that instead. And then I was like, when they get here, I'll just send them back.
Yeah.
So Dan, this story, this guy, it pays off, you guys. So I go on chat and I'm like, I would like to send this back. And then I got these weird answers. I was like, can you just send me the slip and I will just put it back in the box and send it back to you? And the guy at the other end of the chat is like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to give you this one-time exemption and we'll just refund you and you can just keep them. And I was like, excuse me? And they're like, just have them. Because they're like $200 or something. And I was like,
yeah.
You just are going to let me keep them? And you're going to give me a refund? And they're like, yeah, it's this one-time exemption. Is that okay with you? I was like, huh? So I kept them and I gave them to Oscar. I was like, here, have a,
You're swimming in audio equipment now.
But then he was like, I don't know if I want to open these because the UPS guy came to our door today looking for them.
Whoa.
And I was like, but they told me to keep them. So I got back on the chat and I was like, what's going on? You said I could have them and I have a refund. And the UPS guy came and they're like, yeah. And then they were like, let me look into this. And then they finally looked, they're like, yeah, I don't really know why our colleague said that. So, you have to, can you just, we're going to, sorry for the time. And they'd already messed around with the UPS return for, it had already been too complicated. And I was like, you know what? No, here's the deal. You said in writing that I could keep these. You were going to give me my money back. So you know what? I'm keeping these.
Look at you.
Giving me a refund. And they were like, I was like, this is not, I'm not meaning to give you any trouble. No problem. I'll speak to your supervisor. Just, and the supervisor came on. I'm like, so you put it down in writing. So I'm just going to do that.
Yeah. Did you say my name is Maureen fucking Johnson?
I just was like, no, Amazon, fuck you. It was in writing. So you know what? I'm keeping them.
Yeah.
And you're refunding me. And that's just how that's going to be.
Boom.
And I went in and told Oscar and I was so pleased. And I was like, you would have just sent them back. And he's like, of course. And I'm English. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
You were all, you shall not pass.
Just wasn't in the mood.
Somehow my second
and I wasn't
Lord
angry.
of the Rings reference of today.
I wasn't angry. I was just like, no, you're just going to give me a refund. I'm going to keep them because you said so. Okay. And you wrote it down. So you kind of have to do that.
All right.
Because now I am lawyer now, apparently.
So Maureen Johnson, this feels like a very elaborate way of avoiding the major topic at hand, which is we are in the chute for Election Day.
I'm not avoiding it.
I mean unless you have more
you want to see it, look a bird,
headphone-related stories to tell.
Look, I'm making a bunny.
She's making a bunny with her hands.
Gee, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, I feel like we are 6 days away from our third Trump election.
Oh, and the rally yesterday in New York, that?
Well, I mean, that's certainly, I think, probably our main topic of conversation. But mostly, before we get to that, I'm just curious where your head is at. How are you feeling?
Terrible. I told you, terrible.
All right.
I took some. All right, I took some medicine. I have a box of it's ibuprofen with codeine that you could buy over the counter in England.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, you
Good
can just buy that in
stuff.
Boots, which is sealed. I've never cracked into it, and I felt so bad earlier that I was like, I'm just going to try one of these, and it actually made me a little less in pain. So I was like, all right,
that's good.
So it turned some of the signal down for the pain.
Well, perfect.
I was feeling bad, Dan. It was to the point where it was like the nausea. It affected my eyesight, my balance. Like it was really getting into that stuff again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this bullshit.
Oh, no.
What could possibly be causing it? The drilling on the week before the election of the third Trump election.
There are a lot of people listening that are like, when do you think Maureen will see the signs that are all around her?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Start spread. Greatest city in the world, Dan.
Well, speaking of the greatest city in the world, Maureen Johnson.
Okay.
It was the spotlight was on your city yet again. City that never sleeps. The fabled Madison Square Gardens hosted the gigantic Donald Trump closer argument, whatever you want to call it, rally. Last night, and we're recording this on a Monday, which is throwing me off, but last night, your little sweet town, your toddling town, got a little shitty.
You know what? We all saw that, and I really wondered if there was going to be a big counter protest, and I don't think there was, because I think everybody was like, "Oh, fuck you!" Like this is attention-seeking behavior, and I think collectively we were like, "Nah, like you want this too bad. You are too thirsty for it. You come here? No, we don't give a fuck. Sit around, you weirdos."
That event started so early in the day. Like that thing was hours and hours and hours long.
I'm just excited to think of all those jabronis coming into town and realizing there are no bathrooms for them to use. Good luck peeing, you jags.
There's sort of an open question in my mind as to why in the world he would have this enormous event in New York City.
Oh, there's no question in mind, but you go on.
A place that will not vote for him in large numbers, right? It is not a making the case in a state that is going to be consequential for his election.
Nope.
And yet, 1 week out, that was the chosen location for this. So, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Do you have? I mean, he is thirsty for this. It's like when you go back to someone going back to a high school reunion. It's like, I want to show you how cool I am now. All you suckers who thought I was nothing, look at me now. It has brand recognition. He can pretend that he's the king of New York and that he's really this, look, I'm the New York guy doing the New York thing.
Right.
You can't stop me, New York. It's a brand, and it's a deep, weird psychological black hole.
Yeah.
That he just has to do this, even though it has no real purpose other than to aggravate people.
Yeah.
That's it.
It feels to me like in the last week, we've really witnessed him starting to bucket list. Like he's just bucket listing now. right?
Yeah.
He gets to work at McDonald's, right? He gets to highlight Madison Square Garden. I think a week before that, he like did Coachella, right? Like he's just got this weird list of things. Like when we were talking about the McDonald's thing, it was like it felt a lot like when like Make-A-Wish did the Bat Boy kid, and they let this one kid like be Batman in San Francisco for a whole day, and it feels a little like that. It feels at this point like he's just made up this list, and everyone's like, "All right, sir, we're gonna do everything. You're gonna have your best week ever."
And he's just doing events and not speaking and just dancing to Ave Maria.
Yeah. Like it feels like, and I don't want to get myself into a headspace where I feel like this is somehow an acknowledgement that maybe this is the last ride, right? But it feels a little like that. Like it's just like, well, whatever. I'm just going to do the shit that I want to do. Like, I'm going to make these people sit here and listen to me fucking sway to Nothing Compares to You, you know?
It's like how I want to have an ultimate roller skating party where we listen to the entire soundtrack of Xanadu while going in circles.
Like, he doesn't seem to be attempting really to do the things that you would normally do. And so it either means that he kind of is just accepted, like, this is my last ride, or he feels so confident that he's just like, I can just fuck around for the next week.
Or it's option C, Dan, is that there's no one at home anymore.
Well, there's that.
Because he really does not seem to be at home.
True.
Like the statements are getting more disjointed. The answers are getting weirder. I think he did the soundtrack thing the other day again and just stood on stage for 5 full minutes, just like listening to music and swaying and looking around at the crowd. He keeps doing this stuff, Dan.
Yeah.
But he did do this rally and he brought a bunch of racist, dirtbag weirdos with him.
Yep.
One upside of this is that I'm glad more people now know that there was, before World War II, in the 1930s, we had a Nazi rally, an American Nazi Party rally at Madison Square Garden that about 10,000 people came to. That was something I'd originally written into Death at Mourning House.
Oh, okay.
Because this is not a spoiler, but the family that in the past, the big, rich, fancy family everybody loves, is very involved with eugenics. Yeah. That was very popular. But there was also a Nazi presence. There were Nazi summer camps. There were Bunds.
Yep.
There were Nazi rallies. There was absolutely an American Nazi party.
Yeah. And
they had a giant rally with like a big picture of George Washington and lots of flags. Like it was a thing. And in the end, I took it out because I was like, it's a hat on a hat almost. Like I wanted to get the the evil across that, hey, like we accepted this eugenic science. So I removed some of that because I didn't want to tip it so much that people would just like, that it would kind of tilt the narrative too much. I was like, it's got to be just get enough across. But I had written it in.
Yeah.
And I feel like people know about it, but not everybody knows about it because it's certainly not in a lot of history books. And some people are surprised when you're like, there was a full-ass American Nazi party that had a full-ass rally.
Yeah.
And you can see it. And he had a very, very racist comedian named Kill Tony on.
Yeah, his real name was something else. We don't even need name this fucking dude. But yeah, comedian feels like it's an insult to actual comedians.
Douchebag.
He was basically just a guy that kind of rattled off racist stereotypes from the 50s. And, the crowd sort of vaguely laughed to it. And it was wild. Like
he said a horrible thing about Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
And what's not funny is that the guy I ride with, like the service I use to go down to Philly, is run by a guy named Tony, who is Puerto Rican. And it was probably deeply unentertained the fact that there was a guy named Kill Tony who was saying terrible things about Puerto Ricans. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it tomorrow. I'm like, I am sorry about everything. And he'll be like, I hate everything. But he's very pragmatic.
Yeah, just remarkably racist shit against Puerto Ricans, which is a pretty sizable voting bloc in a number of the swing states. Pennsylvania, Georgia both have pretty sizable Puerto Rican populations. Like, again, with the just sort of like the fuck strategy, if any, are they using here?
It has a kind of Firefest feel to it at this point.
Yeah, it does. And it also just contrasts really starkly to sort of the Harris campaign closing stuff where they're getting Beyonce and Bruce Springsteen. And, you know, the Trump people are just landing sort of a real piece of shit, not at all funny comedian and some various people. And I guess Elon Musk, right? Like you've got him dancing around just high off his fucking ass.
Yeah, that man is on a lot of expensive drugs.
Yeah. He, yeah. So I will point out, though, because you referenced the Nazi rally, which one would think that you would avoid references to that at Trump's rally. But one of the unannounced guests, one of the special guests that showed up was Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, who then from the stage said, I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
Okay, Hulk.
Thanks, Hulk Hogan.
Thanks, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he's a terrible human being. But, yeah, again, with moments all week where it just feels like this guy is bucket listing, where it's like, I'm going to hang out with Hulk Hogan. He did a whole interview with The Undertaker, the wrestler. Like
they keep trying to get up in your business.
They definitely keep trying to get up in my business. He has been walking out, Donald Trump, his walk-on music for this final week is The Undertaker's theme song, which is a series of foreboding bells and very slow gothic music, and the literal actual name of the theme song is Rest in Peace. And that is how he is walking onto stage now.
I don't really know what's happening anymore, Dan.
He is also, and I feel like no one has made as big a deal of this as I feel like it is, he has adopted a black Make America Great Again hat. Like he has just decided to go full villain here in this final week.
Dan, I am going to Pennsylvania. I am going.
You're right in it.
Beast. And I just found out that apparently my dad's been ordering lots of My Pillows. Dan has walked away. Dan's gone.
No.
Yep.
No.
I was on the phone with my mother the other day.
Oh shit.
And she was like, as she was talking, she's like, I'm just getting the mail. We have a package. What is this? And I don't know, what is it? She opened it. She goes, it's another goddamn My Pillow.
Oh no.
He's like, he's up there. He sleeps on one now. It's lumpy. It's just full of pieces of cut up memory foam. It's all weird and jaggedy, but he sleeps on it. And it looks like he's got another one.
So I mean, I feel like, where is Mike Lindell still around? Because he has not been in this kind of mix. So is he just still advertising everywhere? Or what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
My dad, I don't even know how my father figured out how to order them. Oh, I think he asked her to do it. Because he doesn't know how to do any of these things. He's like, get me a My Pillow. So she's like, I don't know why there's another one. I better not have been billed for it. God damn it. She was so mad.
I'm sure that the entire My Pillow business model is based around some checkbox that you should have unchecked, and they will just keep charging you and sending you shit for the rest of your life now.
Every month you get this Pillow of the Month club. Am I going to go there and find in the house next door the one full of air fryers? It's also now going to be like, there's just every air fryer has a My Pillow in it.
Almost certainly.
And the thing is, Dan, I bought him nice pillows. I bought him Casper pillows, which are very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he doesn't use those.
Yeah.
But instead, he went out and got a goddamn My Pillow.
You sleep a lot better when you sleep on a pillow built on hate.
She says it's real weird. Like, it's all full of cut up, like, kind of jaggedy pieces of memory foam.
Yeah, I remember that it was at some point during the last cycle, it may have actually been Olivia Nuzzi, did an article about My Pillows and did I slept on it for 2 weeks and it was terrible.
I'll have a look at it when I get down there tomorrow. I'm going to have a little, the things I'll see, Dan. I'll get to see the My Pillow. I'll get to see all the new Trump signs in the weird Trumpy neighborhood.
Perfect.
I'll get to see, my father will have Fox on, so that'll be a problem.
Fun. That's going to be great. This is definitely, it's a sign of just how awful things are at your apartment, that this is your escape.
It's very loud.
Well, I feel
outside.
like
I will sit outside all night, Dan. I will go outside and be, where's Maureen? She's out in the goddamn yard. She's ripping apart a My Pillow. Woman, what the fuck's she doing? She's eating it. She's ripping apart and eating a My Pillow in the backyard and screaming at birds.
Sounds great.
It's going to be fine. I think I'll check in. I'll be fine.
Well, Maureen Johnson, I feel like there is a news item that got overshadowed. A highly relevant Says Who news item that got overshadowed by Donald Trump's brief moment in a McDonald's air fryer or whatever, which is that Rudy Giuliani has now been ordered to place all of his assets into a receivership controlled by the 2 Georgia election workers that successfully sued him for defamation for $148 million. This happened, this only happened 6 days ago. I thought I was going to be like, this happened a few weeks ago. But in fact, it just happened last week. Federal judge in New York ordered Rudy Giuliani to place numerous assets, including cash, jewelry, and his New York apartment into a receivership controlled by 2 former Georgia election workers. The 24-page ruling orders Giuliani to place the assets into a receivership within 7 days. So that's like right now. It's happening right now. But U.S. District Court Judge Louis J. Lindman of New York ordered the, quote, immediate turnover of Giuliani's apartment on the Upper East Side, which was previously listed for sale. This is a fun one. The Lindman also orders Giuliani to take legal steps that would allow the former election workers, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, to seek an estimated $2 million in legal fees that Giuliani has said he is owed by Trump's campaign organization for his work leading Trump's post-2020 election legal challenges. So they get an IOU from Donald Trump that they get to pursue, which feels pretty amazing. But I want to read this part to you, Maureen. This is from the Washington Post's reporting here. In addition to the Trump legal fees and his New York apartment, Giuliani was ordered to turn over a collection of several watches, including items given to him by foreign leaders in the aftermath of the September 11th, 2001 attacks, several pieces of sports memorabilia, including a signed Joe DiMaggio shirt, and a 1980 Mercedes once owned by actress Lauren Bacall.
What?
The order also demands Giuliani turn over his television, various items of furniture, and an unspecified amount of cash in 3 Citibank checking accounts.
All right, Dan. First of all, that apartment on the Upper East Side, that it's on the Upper East Side, is not a shock. That thing is going to smell like mothballs and ass, and it's just going to be full of like dusty Time magazines.
Yes.
The fact that he has to give up his TV is really something. When you have to spell out, you have to give up your TV.
The TV one is the one that made me laugh the hardest because I just imagined. Have you ever watched the unfortunately canceled but truly amazing television program Southside?
No.
Oh, you got to watch Southside. Southside is an incredible, incredible comedy based in Chicago, filmed in Chicago. Everything great in the world is in Chicago,
Sure.
and is about folks that work at a repo, like a rent to own place. But the main characters are on the repo end of it, and so I just immediately had this image of the guys from Southside having to walk into Rudy's apartment and take his fucking television off the wall. While he's like trying to pull his pants back up, being like, "Hey, wait a second."
I feel like it's not mounted then. I feel like it's one of those enormous entertainment centers. It's like made of like.
It's one of those like weird projection TVs from 1980 where they're like, it was like a weird angled screen and then like 3 giant colored lamps that blow up at it.
Not my TV.
Come on, guys. He's like flashing cash at them and they're just taking the cash because they're supposed to also take the cash.
You guys are dicks.
The judge deferred a decision on Giuliani's collection of World Series rings. Giuliani listed the rings as assets in his bankruptcy case, but his son Andrew has filed a motion to block the items being seized by creditors, claiming his father previously gave them to him.
Sure. Well, maybe he can live inside of one.
Giuliani has asked that some items, including a watch given to him by his grandfather, be exempted from seizure as he seeks to overturn the defamation verdict against him. But the judge said that Giuliani never sought a stay of the judgment that could have protected his assets, including his grandfather's watch. The watch, this is their kicker quote. Quote, "The watch may be distinctive to defendant as an item of sentimental value, but it is not distinctive to the law."
Dan, that's cold and delicious.
I love it. The just pure abject humiliation of Rudy Giuliani. And I understand that at some point, all the folks in the kind of cartel above him decided we're good throwing this guy off the fucking bus. But man, I'm here for it.
They didn't even get to the end of a sentence before he just went out the window and directly into a wood chipper.
I mean, I figured that they probably did the calculus. They looked around the room and they were like, which one of us is probably going to die first? Like, let's pin it all on them. And they were definitely like, well, Rudy, it's going to be Rudy. He's half dead right now, right? And even Rudy was probably like, yeah, it's probably me. But,
Dan, do you remember when he would carry around a little nameplate and then set up weird offices at restaurants and do legal stuff inside of steakhouses?
Yeah.
Remember when that was going on, Dan?
Remember how we can't do legal stuff anywhere in the United States now?
Hey, Dan, this is apparently a tight race.
It's a very, very, very tight race. It is a race that is ultimately going to be decided on a whole series of coin flips.
By a bunch of weirdos. Well, I mean, also today a ballot box was set on fire, which that's sort of what I was wondering, if a bunch of weird little actions would throw everything into disarray.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably not,
an event at a certain polling, like just not good stuff happening at certain polling places so that you don't actually know what happened.
Yeah.
And they'll say like, well, we don't know what happened because all the ballots burned up or worse. Like, I just feel like there's enough real weirdos out there. And a whole bunch of them live on my family street.
Yep. Rudy spoke at the Madison Square Garden thing.
Sure did. He might be living there for all we know.
He just curled up inside of one of the like popcorn machines overnight.
I sleep
soft in here.
I sleep under the Budweiser tent.
True.
It drips. If you keep your mouth open all night, you can get a buzz on.
Like, what a remarkable thing that they are so unable to kind of control their messaging and image that they're like, oh yeah, Rudy, sure, no problem. Go on up, man.
Who else you got?
Perfect.
What other weird, defamed people can we get up? What other weirdly inappropriate? Do you have any like creepy children's party magicians or I don't know?
They did have one guy, and I'm not going to bother looking this up.
Don't.
So excuse me if I get these facts wrong. But he was introduced as Trump's childhood friend. Okay. Which,
Sure.
First of all, that alone kind of pushes the bounds of believability because that man didn't have any childhood friends. Clearly. We're all paying that price now. It turns out he's a guy that he met a few weeks ago who claimed, and the only coverage of this is that he has maintained this for a while, that he grew up in one of the buildings that Trump's father owned. And his father died, and Trump's father told his mother that he would cover the tuition to some, private school that they had been going to. And so he, I guess, ran into Trump at a rally a few weeks ago and like called out and Trump heard him and he was like, oh yeah, I remember that story or whatever. And so then suddenly he's up on Madison Square Garden. And this is how good the vetting is. This guy had previously spent quite a bit of jail time for carrying a suitcase full of cocaine. So
he just feels like the kind of guy, like he would attract the kind of person who's like, this guy has been arrested for carrying a sword into a Denny's. Like just some weird. Dan, are the next 7 days going to be troublingly normal or just full of the weirdest shit we've ever seen?
Yes.
Or does the weird shit start next week?
Why not both? Almost certainly the shit is going to get very weird next week. But I don't think that things are going to get less weird between now and Election Day. I mean, you pointing out that there's already been one ballot box firebombed in, I think it was in Portland, right? Mm-hmm. I would imagine you'll see that more. Mm-hmm. Oregon, I don't think is particularly close, right? But like, there's been a whole bunch of kerfuffles over ballot boxes in Wisconsin, right? And Wisconsin is going to be extremely close. So, yeah, I think that anything could happen between now and then. And then I think anything could and probably will happen after that.
You know what I should do?
What?
I have a fun idea.
Oh, good. So far, you're really batting 1,000 on your fun ideas. So let's hear it.
I get a Harris sign.
Okay.
I put it on my parents' front lawn.
Yep.
Then I hide. There's a little kind of shrub.
Okay.
Line of shrubs.
Yeah.
So like you can be on, like, so no one could see you. And I would sit behind the little line of shrubs and then wait till dusk. Because someone will come out and try to remove that sign.
Oh, definitely.
And I will pop up with my video, like videoing on. And be like, hey, Jim, what's up? What you doing with that sign? That's it. That's the whole plan. Just for fun.
I think that you need to maybe rebalance what's fun.
There's got to be something fun I can do in town. Like chalk the sidewalk with Harris stuff.
Yeah, you could do that.
That's legal. I'll have to see if people own the sidewalks in front of their house, but the street is public property.
I mean, you could chalk the sidewalk in front of your house.
I want to chalk all the sidewalks.
That, I think you'd probably end up in some sort of weird limbo state, but yeah. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just going to be fucking bananas. I can't even imagine. I mean, we have been recording for years when you have been at your parents' house. And the phone never stops ringing then. I can't even imagine what it is like there right now.
Oh, it doesn't. They have a call blocker that I got them, which stops a lot of things. But no,
Yeah.
they're getting pole calls multiple times a day.
I mean, it has to just be constant. They actually have a landline,
Yeah.
and they live in Bucks County.
Yep.
I mean, good God.
Phone rings a lot.
Yeah, I bet. How many people are coming to that house?
Somebody came to ask if my mom was voting for Trump, and she basically opened her mouth and fire came out. And the person just slowly backed away and left. My mother has taken to wearing a pin that says 1973. And anybody, she's like, you see this? Do you want to know what I saw as a healthcare professional before Roe versus Wade? I'll tell you. And then she tells them. She's like, let me tell you some of the cases I worked on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I saw. She's not having it. My mom's not having it, Dan. That's why when she got that MyPillow, she's like, this goddamn MyPillow.
Oh, we're 6 days away, Maureen.
Dan,
which does mean that we are 6 days away from being at Disneyland, which is pretty darn great.
We are going to be like, we fly soon, Dan.
We do fly soon.
Enough that as I'm getting ready to go to Philly, I'm also like setting things aside. I'm like, that's for LA. That's for LA. Like, just the things I've watched. I'm like, oh, that's when I come back, I'll put that away for LA. And
I do think the weather is going to be at about as close to perfect as it possibly could be for the time that we're going to be there. Be like in the low mid 70s. Oh.
Do we even need a jacket?
Probably because it'll get cool at night.
Okay.
Right? Because it's that dry heat. So cooler once the sun goes down.
Bring a little sweater.
Yeah, I'd bring a little something warm. It's gonna be nice.
Dan, are you ready we're gonna be in a week's time. We're gonna be on the Haunted Mansion. We're gonna be riding it.
Like literally right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have to figure out when and how we're recording, don't we?
Yeah. I'm still puzzling on that.
Do I need to bring anything?
No.
It's all happening.
You don't need to bring anything. I will bring whatever we need to record.
Look. I have these now. I have these little microphones.
You do have those little microphones.
I'll bring those.
I would bring those if you're making your own videos. But if we're going to record, we're doing it in one of two ways, and I will bring both ways. And
what room are we going to be watching Breaking Dawn in?
We're not watching Breaking Dawn at Disneyland.
What ride are we going to be watching the election returns on?
Probably the Haunted Mansion.
We're gonna hole up our families. We're gonna pool together. We're gonna form a little huddle, a little family knot. We're gonna sit down, and it's gonna start coming in, Dan. Probably pretty early in the day.
That is the thing that's going to be a little bit wild in my head is we're going to be on West Coast time.
Yeah.
So 6 p.m. polls are done on the East Coast.
Yep, and we start finding out, where we bring in like an iPad or something to watch it on, like something big enough that we can.
No, I think we'll just bring a phone.
It's all happening.
The beauty is my phone currently only gets about a half day's worth of charge, so I'm going to be blissfully ignorant.
Do you think everybody's going to be walking around doing the same thing?
No, I think most people will just be enjoying Disneyland.
I don't think so, Dan. I think they're going to be checking.
Super curious, like what the crowd situation will be. I mean, first of all, it's a Monday, like it's a Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. So and it's in November. So those are both pretty low, I would imagine, pretty low days, right? Like, there are a couple of big things happening at Disneyland like the following week. So I would imagine that a lot of the sort of like annual pass holder folks aren't rolling in, right? Because like the Tiana's Bayou Adventure ride opens like I think the next week or maybe 10 days later. And I think also their whole like Christmas time lighting and shit happens like a week later. And the Halloween shit will have just ended. So we're in this like weird little. So I think that's not going to be very crowded, which is great.
And also, I mean, people might physically be at polls and not at Disney.
Yeah. I mean, so like California voting is weird because it's like people get these like books, and I think that you don't. I don't know how much in-person voting there is in California because like you get these books and I think you can drop them off, but I'm not sure how much. Now I gotta know.
Then it's all, but what I'm saying is it's really all happening. Like we're going to Disney.
We are
in the third Trump election. He went.
I guess there is in-person voting in California. Everyone I know is now doing this. Yeah, you return your ballot. All right, hold on. Ways to vote. Vote by mail. Yeah. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Vote early in person.
Did you just go buck, buck, buck like a chicken?
Vote at the polls on election day. Okay, so you can vote in person.
Right.
But everyone I know like got these giant books a while ago and worked through it. It's like a novel. But it is, Dan, Maureen, it's all happening. This is why I feel like we're at the like season finale of America.
Says Who was brought to you
by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon where pretty much every Sunday, though probably not for the next couple. Yes, Maureen?
Have we actually told people the Disney plan?
We did last week, but we should say it again. Okay. So, Disneyland. Me and Maureen are going, like we said. But we decided it is stupid expensive to go to Disneyland. This kind of pisses me off how expensive it is. And if you are in LA and you want to hang out, we're going to be hanging out in downtown Disney, which is the area. I mean, you probably know this more than I do. The area in between Disney and Disney's California Adventure that is free to go to. It's like stores and food and shit like that. We will figure out where we're going to hang out. I think we kind of need to get eyes on the space. In my head, I think that there is this like green, grassy hangout area. That's probably where, but we will put that into the Facebook at some point. And that will be on Election Day, on Tuesday, from 1 to 3 p.m. We're going to be hanging out. And they'll be able
to find out the spot on the Facebook group.
We'll put it into the Facebook group probably on that Monday. But, down, it's not that big. Like I've been down, it's a few blocks in size. So, and like middle of the day on a Tuesday, again, I can't imagine it's going to be that crowded, but maybe I'm wrong. But come hang out. Please don't spend a shit ton of money, but come hang out. And for folks out in Florida ways, I know that there is a self-organized group. And speaking of which, if you want to hang out in the parks, that's awesome. Self-organize a group of folks that want to hang out in the parks. There is a group self-organizing in Disney World of SaysWhovians. They have been organizing over on the Facebook group as well. So we're going to have SaysWhovians on both coasts, both parks. Feels like the end.
No, that's the thing, Dan. It's not the end. I have a feeling it's the beginning, but after this, it looks like us, but we're broadcasting from sort of a post-apocalyptic bunker. Just us in the background is a bunch of cans of beans. We'll have Dan.
What?
If he wins, then there's that.
Yeah.
And if he loses,
then there's that.
I sort of like, what is there? I feel like they have a folder that's like, here's what we're going to do when he loses, because he's probably going to lose.
Yeah.
And what's in that folder is what I mean.
I think the very, very first thing will be they will not make the quote unquote mistake that they made last time. They will announce that they won at 8 p.m. They won't care that half the country's polls are still open. They will announce a victory very early on. In part because they know that the shit that they claimed was their evidence of the election being rigged, right? So Wisconsin, in the middle of the night on election night, a whole bunch of votes that suddenly swung it from Trump to Biden, right? But the explanation of that has always been, yes, that was Milwaukee, right? That was all of the hand count, or that was all of the drop off votes from Milwaukee. That's how they got counted. That's when they got counted, and they all get dropped in bulk, right? They know all of this shit. They know that Pennsylvania, for instance, even though the legislature didn't allow it, but the problem with Pennsylvania is that they can't start counting the votes, I believe, until the polls close. They cannot count mail-in votes. They can't even pre-process mail-in votes until polls are closed. And so they know that Pennsylvania will be forever. And they know that Democratic votes will come in waves as they count them, right? And so you have this thing where there's an illusion on election night that will be undone over time. Will it be undone enough? We don't know, right? But the illusion on election night will be that Trump has a major lead in a number of these states, right? And they will capitalize on that. They will say, we're done. They will say, we won. They will say they are now trying to steal it by throwing in votes, even though what they're doing is the thing that they did the last time too. They're just counting fucking votes, right? So I think that's the A1 thing in the folder, is just like, get on top of this immediately, in part because they know what it's going to look like more, right? So I think that's what election night will look like. They'll just grab it.
There won't be anything for us to talk about starting next week.
Yeah, it'll be done. That'll be it. Final countdown. It won't be it.
It's about to happen. So, whatever it is, we are two people with our hands on a doorknob going, well, we're hearing real weird noises from behind this door. Let's open it.
Fuck it. Let's go to Disneyland.
See you at Disney.
Yeah. 1 to 3 p.m. downtown Disney area. Check the Facebook group before coming there. We'll tell you what's what. And you can at least go to patreon.com/sayswho. There's fucking 2 hours of me suffering through Twilight.
Absolutely worth it.
Our theme music is performed by Ted Leo. Our logo was designed by Darth. You can always contact us at Says Who Podcast on Threads, or at sayswho at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can email at that is HEY at sayswhopodcast.com. You can join the discussion on Facebook at /group/SaysWhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. There's also the fan-run Discord server, and I think Janice mentioned, she read this on the Facebook, that the Discord server are going to, on election night, play Stardew Valley together. So if you want to do that on election night, that's there. I like that everyone's kind of figuring out ways of making it through together. That makes me feel good. Anyway, that Discord server is at tinyurl.com/sayswhodiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you listen. And I think you'll hear from us next week. We'll figure it out. I think I'm just going to end up editing really late at night on election night, but that's fine. I'd be up anyway.
We'll figure it out.
Would be on the 6th of November, the day after Election Day. I think that's when you'll hear from us.
That we'll have that. When we say hangover, we'll mean still drunk because it won't be over.
No, it definitely won't be over. But you will likely hear from us on the 6th of November. I'm looking at my calendar right now. Election Day in 2024, Maureen, was earlier. Or sorry, in 2020 was earlier than 2024. I don't know what year it is anymore.
Are you okay?
And this is how I know.
Okay.
Because in my calendar, Election Day this year is on the 5th. Mm-hmm. We are talking about an episode coming out on the 6th. In my calendar on the 7th, I have a recurring yearly item labeled 4 Seasons Total Landscaping Day.
This has been Says Who. Oh my God. It's all happening.
It is all happening.
Shit.
It is all happening.
Not ready.
No.